10 years ago, this nation's vigil was created here in Washington to pray for the souls of Sandy Hook and their families. Ever since that time, this church has been opened its doors to more victims and more families of a violence that rips at the very soul of this nation. To all of you here tonight, it's under different circumstances, but I know a little bit what the loss feels like. Together, we've made some important progress. The most significant gun law passed in 30 years, but still not enough. Still not enough. Even as our work continues to limit the number of bullets that can be in a cartridge, the type of weapon that can be purchased and sold, the attempt to ban assault weapons, a whole range of things that are just common sense, just simple common sense.
At least 2 more classified records were found at former U.S. President Donald Trump's Florida home, a person familiar with the matter said Wednesday. A federal judge directed Trump's attorneys to look for any classified material still in his possession. They found the documents in a storage room at his Palm Beach home, one of 4 properties searched, the person said. Trump is being investigated by the Justice Department as to whether he broke the law by retaining U.S. government records, some marked top secret, after leaving office. Trump, who launched his 2024 presidential bid last month, has denied wrongdoing and has said, without providing evidence, that the investigation is a partisan attack. The searches were reported earlier by the Washington Post and CNN. FBI agents seized thousands of documents, about 100 of which were marked classified, during a court-approved August 8th search of his Mar-a-Lago estate in Palm Beach. Prosecutors are also looking into whether Trump or his team obstructed justice when the FBI sent agents to search his home. Officials have said more classified documents may still be missing. Trump has faced a series of legal setbacks over the past week, including a Tuesday verdict that his company was guilty of tax fraud.
With COVID-19 controls softening in China, people on the street were also more candid on Thursday with their opinions of the country's tough zero-COVID regime of the past 3 years. In Shanghai, testing stations are still crowded, but residents say they no longer face the pandemic with fear.
It's just like a normal cold. The less you worry about it, the less it will affect you. So I think everyone should take it easy and face it. Now that it has coexisted with everyone, treat it as a cold.
China announced it was rolling back parts of its COVID-19 curbs this week. People with mild or no symptoms are allowed to isolate at home, and testing is dropped for traveling within China. Shanghai said that on Friday it will drop requirements to show a negative COVID test to enter restaurants. And state media say domestic ticket sales for tourist and leisure spots have soared. People have also taken to social media to reveal they had tested positive for the virus, something that had previously carried heavy stigma in China. But cities are urging residents to remain vigilant on mask wearing, social distancing and other measures. Residents Reuters spoke to in Beijing said they would stock up on medicines to battle COVID-19 at home. Flu and cough medicines have been flying off pharmacy shelves as residents, especially unvaccinated elderly people, feel that one case of COVID-19 is too many. Only 0.13% of China's population has been infected. Analysts say that's far from the level needed for herd immunity. A former official in China's Center for Disease Control told state media up to 60% of China's population could be infected in the first large-scale wave before stabilizing. Some experts have also warned China's death toll from COVID-19 could rise above 1.5 million if the exit is too hasty. The former president of blood testing startup Theranos has been sentenced to nearly 13 years in U.S. federal prison. The sentencing of Ramesh Balwani, also known as Sonny, for 2 counts of conspiracy and 10 counts of fraud, comes after a jury in a San Jose courtroom convicted the 57-year-old in July. Prosecutors said that Balwani conspired with his former business partner Elizabeth Holmes of tricking Silicon Valley investors into thinking Theranos had created small miniaturized machines that could accurately run a broad range of medical tests with a few drops of blood from a finger prick, a portable method that could replace lab testing. But secretly, the company relied on traditional methods to run tests and provided patients with inaccurate results. Balwani had joined Holmes, who started Theranos as a college student and became her romantic partner. They were each granted a separate trial after Holmes said she would testify that Balwani was abusive in their relationship, which he denies. Prosecutors said Balwani deserved a longer sentence than Holmes, who was sentenced to 11 years in prison in November because he knew Theranos' tests were inaccurate from overseeing the company's laboratory operations. But he decided to prioritize Theranos' financial health over patients' real health. Balwani's attorneys had asked for a sentence of probation, arguing Balwani sought to make the world a better place and was not motivated by fame or greed. Once valued at $9 billion, Theranos claimed to revolutionize medical diagnostics with its small blood testing machines envisioned for use in homes, drugstores, and even on the battlefield. The company collapsed in 2015 after an investigation by the Wall Street Journal.
And if you go back through history, after pandemics, you see these bursts of creativity, these bursts of change. So after the Black Plague, there was a Renaissance. After the flu of 1918, there were the Roaring 20s. So when I go and talk to CEOs and boards around the world, I remark on the fact that this is what history tells us, is that we are at a very, very interesting time. The second thing we talk about is the fact that in times of turbulence, this is when the leading companies make that extra investment, take that extra part of smart risk associated with creating new. And you see this again, if you look at the map through history, that these leading companies are able to break away in times of change. The leading companies are always the most excited. Yep. They're always the ones that are talking about change, and they're talking about it right now. They're asking questions about technologies and what are the front edge capabilities of it that frankly some of the other companies aren't.